Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. A major turnout today in Winnipeg for a round dance and rally calling for area landfills to be searched. The calls have been amplified in recent weeks after Manitoba's Premier Heather Stefanson said she did not support a search of the Prairie Green landfill. Hundreds gathered at Winnipeg's famed Portage in Main for speeches and a round dance. They then marched down Portage Avenue to the Manitoba legislature to, quote, disrupt Heather Stefanson's day. Things are becoming more politically charged as Manitoba is about to have an election. Melissa Robinson, whose cousin Morgan Harris is believed to be in the Prairie Green landfill, says she spoke with the federal government's new Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations today.
We met with the minister 8 a.m. this morning, and he more or less said, yeah, that's the work is going to get done, and we're going to move forward with it, and that we need to more or less shove out Heather and get in a new government, and then we'll go from there. But we did give him kind of a timeline. He said, what do I need to do to get this ball rolling? And we said, well, in this 90 days from today, let's get this, that, and A, B, and C done, and then we'll go from there. I was very happy, very happy. Like I shared, it's been a long 8 months. We've been fighting for this. What I could never understand was, why are we begging? Why are we begging for them to do the right thing, right, to bring our loved ones home?
Now, in a statement just provided to APTN News, the minister's office says he spoke with two of the families affected, AMC Chief Kyrell Wilson, as well as the Mayor of Winnipeg today, and reiterated Canada's position to support the process. He says he looks forward to continuing those conversations and addressing the elements of the feasibility study. Well, as I mentioned, Manitoba's provincial election is scheduled to take place 2 months from today. And the Manitoba Liberal Party, who currently only has 3 seats in the legislature, unveiled a community safety and justice plan today. Part of that plan is a commitment to funding the search of the Prairie Green landfill on a 50-50 basis with the federal government. Manitoba will go to the polls on October 3rd. Well, we'd like to hear what you think about this or anything else you've seen here. Here's how to continue the conversation. You can send your emails to news@aptn.ca or leave a comment on our website. That's aptnnews.ca. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. An update now on a story we first brought to you last month. Ontario's police watchdog, the Special Investigation Unit, has reopened its investigation into an officer caught on camera apparently beating a man in custody in 2022. This news comes just a few weeks after APTN aired an exclusive video of the alleged assault in Bracebridge, Ontario, by Constable Scott Anthony of the Ontario Provincial Police. The SIU says it's reopened the case after new evidence came to light. Anthony was previously charged with several counts of assault by the SIU in a separate matter. That case is scheduled for trial next spring. The SIU investigates incidents where people accuse police of seriously injuring or sexually assaulting them. The northernmost First Nation in the Yukon is raising alarms about a lack of support from the territorial government to tackle wildfires. The Vuntungwitchin government is located in the community of Old Crow, roughly 800 kilometers north of Whitehorse. While the First Nation is not in immediate danger, there are currently 20 active fires in the Old Crow district. One fire is about 8 kilometers from the community. And the Yukon government said in a response that wildland fire management is in regular contact with the First Nation. It also noted resources are stretched thin as the country is experiencing an unprecedented fire season. There are currently just over 100 active fires in the territory. More people are being forced from their homes near Kamloops, BC, due to the Adams Lake wildfire. Fire is burning east of Kamloops in the Shuswap region. So far, 55 homes have been ordered to leave, as well as 75 properties in the Thompson-Nicola region. BC Wildfire Service says the fire has grown to over 2,500 hectares and is believed to have been caused by lightning.
I was half a mile from it, and you could feel the radiant heat like you were standing in front of a pizza oven.
The color of the air was orange.
And this is the situation north of Pemberton, BC, where a wildfire continues to roar over small communities. Several structures have been destroyed. The area was originally on evacuation alert, but when winds shift suddenly earlier in the week, the alert turned into an order. There are currently more than 350 fires burning in BC. More than 500 people are under evacuation order and nearly 10,000 are on alert. People from a northern Saskatchewan First Nation have been evacuated as wildfire smoke threatens their community. About 300 people from the Fond du Lac Dene Nation have been moved to a Saskatoon hotel to escape the effects of the smoke. Community leaders say people with heart, lung, and other health issues are being made a priority for relocation. A wildfire burning near the community is considered uncontained and is nearly 4,000 hectares in size. The Canadian Red Cross is helping evacuees with accommodations and essential services. To fires overseas now, and a two-day event on the south coast of New South Wales has brought 11 local Aboriginal land councils and a key fire mitigation stakeholders together to discuss how the practice of cultural burning can become a more widely accessible service to reduce fire hazards and promote land regeneration.
2019, more than 1.1 million hectares of land on the New South Wales south coast was engulfed by bushfires.
Our region was hit, it was devastating, absolutely devastating. From down near the border right up through the whole of the south coast.
This week, delegates from 11 Aboriginal land councils gathered on Murray country on the south coast of New South Wales to learn from the past to prevent disasters in the future.
It's been proven that if people have the correct burns around where they live, at least, these devastating fires would have not had such a huge impact when they're travelling through the areas where the houses are.
Wrong time, the flame height will be double this already with these burrowings.
Hosted by the Batemans Bay Local Aboriginal Land Council, the two-day conference is discussing the use of cultural burning, a cool burning technique where the fire burns low and slow, preserving soil and land.
We utilise different country types in telling us how to put fire on and when to put fire on, so that, in a way, keeps it suppressed, keeps it where we can manipulate it, we can work with it. So we're not firefighters, we're fire practitioners, and we're land practitioners, so we utilise all these indicators that show us when to burn and why to burn.
These practitioners want greater recognition of cultural burning as a fire mitigation technique and are offering their services to landowners and government agencies.
So there's been a really long history of fire management being done just by agencies. And now with this cultural burning revival, it's really important that those agencies are taking that leadership from local Aboriginal community.
This is our country and we've got to keep it healthy. And if it's not healthy, you know, we're not going to be. So it's a big thing that we're trying to do. And not only that, we're getting our kids back to our culture.
Caring for country by continuing culture. Ricky Kirby, NITV News.
Time for a quick break. Coming up, our Truth in Politics panel will look back on some of the week's political gaffes. Stick around. Welcome back. This week, our Truth in Politics panel is looking at some of the political missteps this week, and there were a few. Our distinguished panelists are here. Carrie Benjo, the editor of the Eagle Feather News. She's joining us from Regina. And Egon Sinclair, a columnist at the Winnipeg Free Press, who's joining us from Wisconsin. Carrie and Egon, great to have you with us. Carrie, let's start with you. One of the announcements by the Manitoba government this week ahead of the upcoming election that has been roundly criticized was the announcement on the MMIWG license plates. The province said it's part of its ongoing commitment to reconciliation and support of MMIWG2S issues. What did you think of this announcement?
I was so disgusted. It was laughable. You know, this ongoing commitment to missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's okay for them to capitalize on the issue. I see it as a money grab. I see it as something that they want to commit as long as it's nice, as long as it's pretty, as long as it's not real, and as long as it's not concrete. Yeah, it's nice to put some artwork on some license plate and say that's their commitment. You know what? Their real commitment is talking to the families, finding out what they need, and maybe making some efforts to do something to rectify this situation that they're in right now. Announcing that they're going to make a license plate. It does nothing.
Egon, you know, this was something that has been in the works for a while. We knew it was going to be happening. Bernadette Smith and NDP MLA brought forward this, but was this pretty bad timing?
Yeah, I posted on social media that whoever was the timing on this one is absolutely atrocious. It's poorly thought out in terms of, you know, especially considering the issue around the landfill and the failure of the province to search. This was in a long time coming, this particular project. Manitoba has over a dozen license plates that are fundraisers for different organizations, things like Basketball Manitoba, things like other service groups throughout the city, Humane Society. And so this was an attempt by the provincial government to do a fundraiser to support families of murdered, missing Indigenous women and girls. So the sentiment is good. It was actually driven by a person who is involved, Bernadette Smith, as well as the members of the NDP who were also involved in this as well. But it's just so poorly timed out. Now, I mean, who's going to want one of these license plates? It's absolutely absurd, because what you're doing is you're affiliating with a province that has refused time and time again to take action on this issue, not even refusing to implement the calls to justice from the Murder, Missing Indigenous Women and Girls inquiry. So, I mean, it's absolutely absurd to release it at this time. And whoever is in the communications department in the province just has to shake, you know, this person really shouldn't be working in a communications job.
Moving to federal politics, Carrie, the new Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations made his first official visit this week to Whitecap Dakota Nation in Saskatchewan, where they re-announced something that was first announced months ago, back in May. When he was asked about the landfill issue, he said they were making every attempt to visit Winnipeg as soon as possible. Was this a misstep for the new minister to fly over Winnipeg to do a re-announcement?
I think right now he's looking for easy places to visit, someplace where there isn't controversy, someplace that, you know, he's a new minister. I'm thinking he's trying to find places where he's accepted, you know, like bringing the good news. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with Indigenous issues, it can't be all roses, you know. There's a lot of hard issues, a lot of hard topics that he as a minister is going to have to address, and him sidestepping it and not addressing it full on, it's disappointing. I was really hoping that maybe he would be the one to come forward right away and, you know, do something, you know, create some sort of conversation so that something can actually happen. Everything is at a standstill, and I just see it getting tougher and tougher, and the I think there's going to be something dramatic happening soon because both sides are refusing to come to the table and meet and talk and work something out.
Yukon, the APTN asked the new minister at that Whitecap announcement about the landfill, and he said, quote, that he's reviewing all the available information and that he looks forward to working with the families to come to the right, appropriate resolution. Seems like a stark contrast from the way former Minister Mark Miller was handling this, no?
Yeah, I mean, Mark Miller, well known for having pretty strong relationships with communities, also was on the side of various different political groups that were calling things, using the terms like genocide and so on. We have to remember that the new minister's only been in the job for a week, but is also a very strong party loyalist. I mean, I wrote a column about how this minister has experienced genocide in his own life in the Tamils of Sri Lanka. And so perhaps we have a more sensitive minister, a person of color, a person who's experienced colonialism. In fact, he talked about that in his opening speech. But the fact is that he does need to make a very big splash very quickly because Mark Miller was so popular. And if you don't put your stamp on this particular portfolio, what's going to happen is that you're going to be seen by Indigenous communities as being too close to the Liberal government, which frankly has been stepping away from Indigenous issues for quite some time, putting less energy into it, particularly with a potential election coming next year. The cabinet shuffle has indicated that perhaps we're seeing an election sooner rather than later. And he has to put, as Kerry pointed out, some kind of stamp on this job very quickly, and perhaps meeting with the families about the landfill issue. I mean, we're still waiting to hear from what the federal government's going to do about the feasibility report in Manitoba. We've heard from the province who said they're not going to take action on it, but they did say that they will listen to what the federal government has to say, and it may just be that this minister is going to take action on that.
Kerry and Yukon, we'll have to leave it there. Appreciate you being with us as always.
You gotcha.
And the newly appointed Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations, Gary Ananda Sangari, was at the Kinitsin Saulteaux Nation in Saskatchewan yesterday to sign a specific claims settlement agreement. The agreement will help address the treaty obligations Canada failed to honour by providing agriculture benefits specified in Treaty 4. The compensation amounts to over $56 million.
This is a very important moment because today I think that the chief has really pointed out to me that it's about ensuring that future generations, those who are here, the young people that are here, and we saw them earlier, those who are yet to be born, also are beneficiaries of what we've done today. And this really is about the future. It's not, while it may be grounded on the past, it is about ensuring that the future is brighter and one that ensures self-determination and one that also ensures economic stability and prosperity.
We've gone through the claims process, we've gone through the tribunal, we've gone through mediators, and we're always being delayed for one reason or another, whether it's leadership on our side or federal government leadership, but it is important, and it's the Creator's way of blessing us not only with the opening of the center, but also culminating this treaty implementation.
Time for one last quick break. When we return, we'll check out some new music. Stick around. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. And this one straight from the wildlife camera located near the home of Glenn Baker. A lone wolf is captured in this amazing photo from the Woodview, Ontario area. Thanks for that, Glenn. Appreciate it. Great shot. Keep those photos coming by sending them to share@aptn.ca. Now let's take a look at your Friday weather forecast. Starting on the East Coast, 25 in Halifax, 22 with showers in Fredericton, 20 in Kuujjuaq, 13 with rain in Nain, 24 and rain in Montreal, sun's out, and 21 for Val-d'Or. Partly cloudy and 26 in Sault Ste. Marie, rain, and 22 in North Bay. 24 in Thunder Bay, 27 in Sioux Lookout. 23 with showers for God's Lake and Norway House. 30 is the high for Winnipeg, 31 in Brandon, 30 in Regina, sun's out, and 26 in Saskatoon, 23 and sunny skies in Meadow Lake, showers, and 22 in La Ronge. In northern Alberta, rain, and 22 in Peace River, 23 with showers in Fort McMurray, 25 in Edmonton, 26 in Lethbridge, 23 in Vancouver, 34 and sunny in Kamloops. Sun's out, and 25 for Prince George, 28 in Smithers under sunny skies. 25 in Old Crow, showers, and 26 in Whitehorse. 25 for Yellowknife, rain, and 21 in Norman Wells. 6 is the high for Sax Harbor, 13 in Paulatuck. 25 in Chesterfield, 23 in Baker Lake. 8 in Resolute and Arctic Bay. A new music collaboration between Crystal Shawanda and the Sultans of String brings together Indigenous and non-Indigenous culture and music. A lot of good stuff going on in that song. The Res is one of the singles off the Sultans of String's upcoming album, Walking Through the Fire, which will be released in September. The album features a number of collaborations with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit artists across Turtle Island. Shawanda, who hails from Wikwemikong First Nation on Manitoulin Island in Ontario, has numerous award wins and nominations, and says the project is a reminder to be proud of who you are.
I hope that they'll remember, whether you're from a res or from a small town, I hope it makes you remember your families and your hometowns and your childhood and the beautiful parts about it, not just the bad parts. And hold on to those beautiful parts and let it inspire you. And always remember that, if you grew up through struggles and hardships, remember you are from a family of survivors. Don't ever forget that, and rise above all the negative stuff in your future and move forward and be proud of where you come from.
Awesome stuff. Really like the sound of that song. Well, that is all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Thursday. You can find much more over on our website, including more on today's Search the Landfill rally. I'm Dennis Ward. Thanks for being with us. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.